And you know where they go? They go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 that we read. They go to 1 Corinthians 15 that we read. And all of that dealing with the coming of the Lord, the resurrection of the righteous, and the setting up of the kingdom. That's what's written in Revelation chapter 11, wasn't it? Didn't when the Lord came, when the Lord came to establish the kingdom, didn't you have the resurrection of the righteous at that time? He said the same thing in 1 Corinthians, didn't he? And he said the same thing in 1 Thessalonians, didn't he? So what time are we dealing with? We're dealing with the same time, aren't we? Let's go now to Matthew chapter 24. And we're going to pick it up at verse 29. Matthew 24, and we'll pick it up at verse 29. Okay, when you get it, go ahead and read, bro.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days.
What time?
Immediately after.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days. Look what's going to happen. Go ahead and read.
Shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
The sun going to be darkened and the moon not going to give her light. Go ahead and read.
And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken.
Go ahead and read.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
And
then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
Go ahead.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
You know what you just found out here? You just found out that the Son of Man don't come until after the tribulation.
Yes,
so
sir.
now all of them telling you about the coming of the Lord was in 1 Thessalonians was before the tribulation. Nope. Coming of the Lord in 1 Corinthians 15 was before the tribulation. Nope. The book tell you when the Lord going to come immediately after the tribulation of those days. The sun ain't going to give her light. The moon ain't going to give her light. Then shall appear a sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Then you shall see him coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Go ahead, read on.
31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
Go ahead.
And they shall gather together his elect.
And then he's going to send his angel with what? With the sound of a great trumpet. What trumpet is this? This is the seventh trumpet. Same thing that you read about in Thessalonians and in Revelation and in 1 Corinthians. Go ahead and read on.
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
Go ahead.
Now, learn the parable of the fig tree.
Now he said, now learn the parable of the fig tree. Go ahead and read.
When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth his leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
See, Lord can't come until you see all these things. Lord can't come before no tribulation. He just told you, when you see all of these things, then know that his coming is near, even at the door. Everybody is telling you about Jesus going to come before the tribulation. They got it wrong. Jesus himself telling you when you see all these things, all what thing? Everything that he said, the wars, the rumors of the war, the abomination of desolation, the great tribulation, all of that, when you see all of that, then know his coming is near, even at the doors. Go ahead and read on.
34.
Go ahead.
34. So verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
Go ahead and read.
Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
Go ahead.
But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
Let me just comment on that. He didn't say you couldn't know the approximate time, did he? He said in that day or in that hour, no, you'll never hear me say day. And many have said it. I got newspaper articles going back years where some guy stood up and said, the Lord going to come on July the 10th, 1990, and that was 20 years ago, and he still ain't showed up yet. Because no man know the day of the hour, but you do know the approximate time. You know that certain thing that the Lord said, and when these events happen, then you know that it is near, even at the door. When you see the wars and the rumors of wars, all of that, when you see the abomination of desolation, when you see the two witnesses get killed in the street, then you know that it is really near, even at the doors then. But he said the day or the hour knoweth no man. Go ahead and read on.
37.
Go ahead and read.
But as the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
What are we reading about here? The coming of the Son of Man, aren't we? He said, as was the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Go ahead, read.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Now, you know, and the world just went on about his business, right? You know, Noah running around preaching, you know, the Lord is about to bring a flood up on the earth that's going to destroy everybody, and ain't nobody paying it no attention. Everybody marrying and drinking and giving in marriage, just life just going on. Nobody paying, like don't nobody pay us no attention. Here we is reading all this good scripture, and we got all this evidence. Ain't nobody paying us no attention. The world just going on about his business. They looking at us like we stupid. We showing them all this stuff that's going to happen, and we showing them where the Lord have brought things to pass in the past. Letting you accurate stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Letting you know whatever the Lord have called, that's how it's going to be. Nobody paid Noah no attention, and they don't pay you none either, but you tell them anyway. But if for no other reason, so that it will be a witness against them. Go ahead, read on.
And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
I got to remind you of something here. Now, what happened? What did we read earlier? We read about the two witnesses being called up, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we read as well at the coming of the Lord, where the righteous dead, they're going to be called up to meet the Lord in the clouds and in there. At what time? At the coming of the Lord.
Yes,
when is the Lord going to come? After the tribulation, right? We just read that, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Now, go ahead. Because they messed this up, too. This is supposed to be the rapture, too. That's why I had to set all of this up. You understand? Make certain that you understand certain things so that you can understand clearly what time we are reading about here. Because they read this and tell you this is the rapture. But now, what have we read so far? Immediately after the tribulation, the Lord came, didn't he? You know, and that was after the tribulation. And he said, until you see all these things happen, until then, know this coming is near, even at the doors. What verse are we?
Starting 40.
Go ahead and read.
Then shall two be in the field. The one shall be taken and the other left.
Wait a minute. Then shall two be in the field, one taken and the other left. Well, somebody got to meet the Lord in the clouds and in the air, right? You know, you got these two people standing in the field. Well, one might be righteous and the other one might not be righteous. The one that is righteous, he going to meet the Lord in the clouds and in the air. And the one that is not righteous, he going to stay there in the field. But what time is it? Is this before the tribulation or after? This is the coming of the Lord here. He told you that the Lord didn't come until after the tribulation. Go ahead and read on.
Two women shall be grinding at the mill. The one shall be taken and the other left.
Same thing apply. Two women grinding at the mill, one taken and the other left. Which one taken? The one that's going to meet the Lord in the clouds and in there. Somebody got to meet the Lord in the clouds. Not everybody, but the righteous, he said, didn't he? The righteous dead, they going to meet him in the clouds of the air. And the righteous living, they going to meet him in the clouds of the air. So now if they going to meet him in the clouds and the air, that means when they're on the earth, they got to be taken, don't they? Everybody understand me? I hope I'm making this clear. Because this is so simple to me. And I ain't no scholar, but this is simple to me. Go ahead and read on.
42.
Go ahead.
Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come.
Now he said, watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doeth come. Go ahead and read on.
But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
Now he just letting you know to watch. Because if you knew when a thief was coming in your house, you'd be laying there waiting on him, wouldn't it? You would be ready, in other words. And that's all he's telling you, be ready. Because you don't know at what hour your Lord doeth come. That's all he's saying is be ready. Go ahead and read on.
Therefore be ye also ready. For in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh.
Now, that is good. That is it. So now we got the Great Tribulation. And that leads up to the coming of the Lord. And the Lord cannot come until after the tribulation. He just told you that. Jesus told you that. Paul didn't tell you. Peter didn't tell you. Jesus told you. Immediately after the tribulation, sun going to get dark. Moon not going to give a light. Then you're going to see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And what happened with the rapture? It don't exist. Thank you. And I hope you learned something from this lesson.